What's happening, everybody? Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on, but hey, we're gonna get through it, and we're gonna be cool. Okay. So first of all, I want to go ahead and do my weekly rant. It's been a
Okay,
minute.
good.
We weren't able to do it last week. But it's all good. We're gonna keep coming on though. Life
We are.
things happen, and we're gonna keep it moving.
Mhm.
Okay. First of all, I just want to say that loyalty is not consistency. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody is around you all the time does not mean that they're actually loyal to you. Um, Loyalty is only tested when it's inconvenient. Sometimes, like I said, people are around because they're takers, and there's no limit to takers. You know, takers will keep taking until there's nothing left. And then a lot of times when that's gone, then they'll leave you as well. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing else to take from you. And the flip side of that is that givers also have no limit to what they'll give a lot of times, and they give to a fault. They'll keep on giving because sometimes people feel sorry for other people, and there's a lot of different ways why people give so much to where they can't stop giving. You know what I'm saying? And it's a dysfunctional dynamic between two people a lot of times, to where you have the givers and the takers, to where it becomes toxic because you're enabling um, a situation to where there's no growth. If I have someone that needs to just like let's say between mother and son, um, where I have my son there, I want him to be protected and everything. I want him to do what's right, but I don't want him to suffer. And a lot of times that process, life is suffering. To grow, a lot of times you have to suffer. You have to go through some things just so you can grow. You know, and then after you do go through things, you become stronger. So always remember that. Like, don't be loyal to somebody that's just a taker. Let them grow up and be who they're supposed to be. A lot of times you can give them advice or whatever, but don't just keep giving and giving and giving, because you're actually doing more damage than you're doing good.
Mm, yes, I've seen that. I have been a victim of such, so I love your rant today. It strikes me deep here, Chuck. Strikes me deep. Right. So thank you everybody for joining us today. If you're on YouTube watching us, don't forget to hit that like, that subscription, and that notification bell so that every time that we go on live, you guys know that we're live and we're here. Tonight's topic does talk about romance and finance, but before we get into that, Chuck, how are ya?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. Everything's going okay. Um, I'm trying to plan out certain things. Everything is going good so far. So I don't have no complaints right now. I'm in a happy space in my life. Still doing things. The wife is still happy. Like I said, we ain't talked since you've been here.
I
Like I said,
know.
Champagne was here a couple weeks ago. We got to hang out with Champagne. Me and the wife
It'll be a
got to
good
hang out with
time, y'all.
Champagne. Yeah. So we had a good time. It was a genuinely good time. You know what I'm saying? Got something to eat, kicked it, talk. You know what I'm saying? And Champagne's silly self kept us laughing. You know, so, so we had a really good time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you got to see, my wife or whatever. Because I don't like, I'll post her on Facebook and everything, but I don't like, she's not like, I'm not gonna put her on like on the show and stuff like that or whatever the case may be. That's our relationship. She's publicly acknowledged. I make her feel as secure as possible. I'm
She
very
sure
transparent with
does.
everything. Yeah,
Mhm.
so what I'm saying, we in a good space, so we good.
She sure. It's nothing like I have and I need to preface this because when women say that they have male friends, they'll be like, "Oh, you're a whore or something." But it's not that I'm a whore, you guys. I'm just cool as fuck. All right. So I have male friends, and when you have male friends, you gotta be like, oh shit, I can't share that story because she don't know it, so I can't really say. So you gotta dance around. But with Chuck, it was just like, oh yeah, she already knows. She knows everything. Like, oh, it made the conversation. Like I would never say. I mean, she knows everything. Chuck has never done anything crazy, so he ain't got to worry about me saying anything crazy. But just the fact that she knows everything, that makes the conversation flow easier because I ain't got to worry about, ooh, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say this. So that was a good time. And y'all, Chuck love her because he's one of the husbands who are just like, yeah, we love to eat this restaurant, don't we, honey? This is our restaurant. No, this isn't our restaurant. No, this is not our restaurant. He loves like, what do we say, babe? Yeah, we always say that. We always say that. Like it was so cute. So thank you so much for the invite. It was great, man. I can't wait for y'all to come back. And I got this Applebee's. I'm not like y'all. I ain't got money like that. So I gotta take you to Applebee's, but I'm gonna take you out.
Hey, that's what we take the special show.
I'm gonna take you to get some pho. You like Vietnamese stuff?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on if they can cook. Yeah.
You know what? Oh, you like African food?
It depends on that too. If they can cook.
What about Dre Lee's?
It all depends on, huh?
Have you ever been to Dre Lee's here in Columbus?
No, I ain't even never heard of it. I've been gone a couple years, so.
Yeah. Oh man, I got into the African community real good. Hey, Charmaine. And so I go there because I get my pepper soup and my suya, and it's delicious. But I can't do everything. Like they have this one type of. It's like fufu is the food you do with your hands. It's like mashed. It reminds me, it's like a mashed starch. If I could, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I don't know. But anywho, you take fufu, you like dip it in like the soup, and then you eat that. You're not supposed to chew. You're supposed to just swallow it from what I heard, and you use your hands with it. So we gotta try that. I can't wait till y'all guys come back. We got options, so don't worry. I'm gonna show you out.
All right, that's what's up.
But I did go to Vegas, man. Let me tell you, so much has happened in this week. I'm gonna try to keep it to no more than 6 minutes. But so when I went, Vegas was great. I went to Vegas. I ended up spreading my grandmother's ashes at the Excalibur Hotel, and which was cool because now I always know to go to Excalibur. And it was at a place where there wasn't anyone walking through, but it was also a place where there won't be a lot of people disturbing the area. So that was nice. It was cathartic. I was like, yeah, girl, let's go.
What made you do? Why'd you have to put her ashes at the Excalibur Hotel? May I ask?
You know what? She actually used to, her casino of choice back in the day was the Lady Luck Casino.
Okay.
And that is not there anymore, from what I understand.
Okay.
So I like the Excalibur. It was right there. It seemed cheesy, like the Lady Luck that she had, and she wasn't really specific besides Lady Luck.
Okay.
So it was kind of like up to me at that point, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. It was the easiest place I could walk to. I didn't want to pay money to go anywhere. It was right there, and I knew I wanted it on the casino, and it was nice. So I didn't put all her ashes there. I just put enough to say that I did it, and the rest, because I'm trying to be rich in my life, I'm going to get one of those expensive urns and put her on there and just start putting my family on urns on a mantle, just so they can all be there. So it was good. But while I was there, I chose between two shows. It was a male review, and right, and it was one of those Cirque du Soleil shows. Now, I've always wanted to go to a Cirque du Soleil show for years, but then I saw this Thunder from Down Under show, and I was like, maybe. And my friend, I let her choose, and she chose the Thunder from Down Under. And man,
yeah,
I went to it, Chuck. And between me and you, I wish I would have went to the Cirque du Soleil show instead. I was just not a fan. Man, because first of all, these niggas was not on beat. They were uncoordinated. Like, this dude started over here, and he's not on beat with this. And so for the first 30 minutes, I'm coming from a creative aspect. Y'all are not on. What kind of choreography is this? This is nothing like Magic Mike. Only one guy did backflips the whole time. Like, it was just crazy. And this is the crazy part. So I get down to my seat.
Uh-oh.
I pay for front row tickets because I'm trying to get some dick in my face, right? So I'm there sitting in the seat, and I look to the right hand side of me, and it's a dude, and he's not gay, and he is there with his wife. But it gets
Mm.
better. I look to the left
Uh-oh.
of me. I have a table full of men and women. They're Mexicans. I know they're Mexicans because they were, shouting they were from Mexico when, one of the Latin chicks got on stage. And
Uh-huh.
like just these again, these were not gay men. These were husbands and wives just sitting at the table. So when the dudes would come to the table, they're not trying to grind on the men. So they would just come by and just like, all right, high fives. And they would just run off. It was such a waste of my money. I wanted to be fondled. So it was a
But
time.
But remember, you're in Vegas. I mean, it ain't like they ain't gonna go hard like they would go, in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So if you was expecting that, no, it's gonna be watered down a little bit because it's for all ages. You got grandmas at 70 years old that going in there, so they ain't gonna be, saying like smacking their face and with their penis and whatnot. I mean, come on, it's watered down a little bit.
No, they didn't do any of that, but they did take this Asian housewife up stage and just twisted her all the ways and everything. It was hot. He was just tossing her little ass all over the place. I was like, I gotta go get in the gym. You gonna toss my ass next year. So it was it was cool. But that was my weekend time. That was my weekend fun.
Okay. Cool.
So what's going on in news?
All right, let's go. We got a couple news things that we're gonna get through real quick. All right, we're gonna go with well, there's a couple big things, but we're gonna go with this first one right here. Hold on.
Okay.
We got the first one is here we go. Okay, we got I think Sherelle Rosado and Ocho Cinco. Now, remember their relationship for the last, like I'll say at least 6 or 7 months have been really open. Ocho Cinco had, he's a regular on the Club Shay Shay podcast, and he be bringing her on there sometimes. And I'm like, why bring your girl on there? But she's trying to get some shine. But they've been really open about their relationship and things like that. And now what happened was she went on a broadcast, and it was like a it was like like this. It was like it was just a regular little broadcast where they would those on there discuss relationships and stuff. And she was talking about her ex, and she said when she was with her ex-husband, she was cheating on him with Ocho Cinco. And so then she established an emotional attachment to Ocho Cinco. She ended up leaving her husband, and then so her husband stopped talking to her. All they do is just with the kids and all that, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And so she went with Ocho Cinco. Now, like I said, after a while, since this, and I remember their relationship is public, so people were pulling each other both ways. So after they people talking and whatnot, they ended up, now they're broken up now, and now she's talking about, well, he's single now, y'all can have him, what or not. And listen, and I guess he was cheating on her or whatever the case may be. But I remember, I keep telling everybody, you lose them just how you get them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was already known of being a public cheater. She was a cheater. This was a train wreck. This was never going to work. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way she operated. Once she got comfortable, if she had better options, then that's what she did. She moved on. There was no loyalty to her ex-husband. She just had a better choice in Ocho Cinco that she thought. And now she played herself out the game, and look what happened. Now they broke up. Now she didn't mess up a family that she was at. She was married. Now, you know what I'm saying? It'll never be the same. Now she's just going to be one of these other females out here that's just, you out here in the streets now. You left your man because you thought the grass was greener, and he played you for like 6-8 months. I mean, she's a nice looking female. And then now look at them now. Now they're broke up because you weren't loyal. Like I said, that's like, when I see stuff like that, it's like the devil is testing you. You know what I'm saying? It's always when you have a good thing, something else comes up and it ends up being messed up, man. Like it once you find your happiness, it's always something that tries to destroy it. And it's always perfect timing. Every time you got something good. So you got to have the discipline to say no. You know what I'm saying? Be happy with where you at. You had a husband and you had kids. I mean, hey, not to say that they don't have problems, but every relationship has problems.
That is correct. To leave your man for a man who cheats all the time, who has never been faithful, is wild. That's some crazy work right there. Hey, Slim Goody. I she played it all wrong, but you know what? They met each other. I hope she didn't fall in love, but she probably did. She thought that it was gonna be more than what it was, instead of just using it for what she needed. She should have just hung out with them, hung out with them, maybe had sex with them a couple times. I wouldn't have
She
left
was
my husband
married.
for
What are
her.
you talking about? What you mean she should have
I
hung
was
out with him? She was married.
that woman. I need to see what her husband looked like. I
It
need to
don't
see if
matter what he
and
champagne.
let me tell you
Are you
why. Let me tell
serious?
you why. I'm not
Go
condoning
ahead.
her. It's just the fact that
What
she
up,
is a
Garfield?
cheater. I don't think I would never believe that Chad Ocho Cinco, sorry, is the first man she's cheated on her husband with. I don't
Right.
believe
I agree.
it.
I
I don't
agree.
believe it. So all I'm saying is she's a cheater, and her husband is with her because she's probably bad. She's A man will stick it out with a woman who he feels is the baddest that he can get. He'll look to the side of it. Um, so she played it wrong. I feel like she should have just fucked with him a couple times, got a bag, stayed with her husband. She's a cheater. She got with another cheater and she got outplayed. That sucks for her. I'm not on her side at all. I think she did wrong all the way around, and her husband know who she is. It's not a shocker. It's just now public, and she got too cocky with it. She thought she got something good. She got played. She got her
Mm.
comeuppance. I'm glad Ocho Cinco did that. He was
Okay.
Hey,
That's
was
a
talking
fact.
about how he be using venom, having relations with different women. He was talking about how he be using venom, having relations with different women. Um, Chad Ochocinco sucks. Like it's just it's like getting with that dude who cheats on women all the time, which he is. It's You think you're different? You think you've
Right.
got the magical
Exactly.
pussy that make him commit? No, you don't. You're just another one. So again, she played it wrong. I do believe she probably cheats, but I think she fell in love and thought it was gonna happen for her, and it didn't. It didn't go well. Now look where she at. I'm sorry, sis. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, it was justice. Because you know what type of dude you was messing with. It wasn't no secret. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then, like I
Yes.
said, listen, you were married and you had a kid. Ain't no guy gonna respect that. You know what I'm saying? How can you ever trust somebody that is and you know what? And I'm gonna just tell you, it took me a long time to really have trust in women because when I was a young man, I messed with married women. And I was like, why would you ever get married? They was messing with me more than they was messing with their husband. We were having sex all the time. Like, and I was a young man. I couldn't bring that to the table. I was just bringing my youth. You know what I'm saying? And you had a husband at home that was taking care of the fam and all that. And you was messing around with me for what? You know what I'm saying? So that's what made me not trust women because of seeing that type of thing, as a young man. So that's what kind of like messed with my head for a while. That's what I'm saying. That's why in this day and age, it's hard to really trust people, man, because it's just it's hard because you can't control what somebody else is going to do. And man, it's just crazy out here, man, for real. So I can understand. People are like men are scared to get married now. You see all these relationships that are gone public out here, and women are just raking these guys for everything that they got. It's hard to trust that, man. If you got something to lose, a lot of people ain't gonna get married, man. For real, it's hard because for one, I think it's just hard for people to just choose. It's hard for people. They don't know what to choose. You know what I'm saying? You can't, like, for me, I think I have pretty good people skills and I can actually tell what's genuine and what's not. I've always been pretty good with that, but a lot of people are not. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what takes part in that. And then somebody flip on you if you're already famous. You don't know if they want you for your money or for you. It's a mess out here.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's definitely women going through the same thing that men are talking about. But I think that we've just been a lot vocal about it, that men cheat all the time. And now it's gotten to a point where women are just like, okay, well, I mean, do you guys only have to be the ones that cheat all the time? Maybe we can share the responsibility in that field. But it's hard for many people to get married because I think people have such an issue with things ending, and people hold on to situations that no longer serves them. And then it's just also it's hard to determine who you could do all the vetting in the world. You could have used, all of your five senses, had a couple tarot card readings, everything. And you still can end up with somebody who's a dud. And that's hard for a lot of people to know that you did everything and you still failed. It makes people not want to. And there's a lot of married guys. I get married guys in my inbox every day hitting on me. Married all the time. That doesn't make me want to get married. That doesn't seem like that's a good idea at all. And these are some of the guys who have some of the coldest women with the nicest bodies. I'm like a 4. They're over here knocking on the door. So it's just, I know they're not looking for anything long term, but you're stepping out on your wife. Like, that's not loyalty, to my opinion. You're being very disloyal, right?
Right. Like I said, I've said this many a times. I've when I was married, I was, before I was cheating all the time. And it was, some of them were a lot lesser than what I had. And the only thing that somebody can bring to the table is that your wife can't bring is that it's new. It's a new experience. You know what I'm saying? Something that's unfamiliar. And sometimes people get excited over that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something different. You know what I'm saying? Because you're used to having the same thing. There's no challenge to it. You having your wife at home, you should, have access to her. Some dudes, it be married dudes that don't get none. So, so there's a dynamic there too, because things get stale after a while and whatnot. But yeah, man, I mean, that's, if they got a fine woman and they still out here on the hunt, it's because it's something that's unfamiliar and new. And it's, and like I said, I told you, it was fun while it lasted. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what you're going to come up on. It's like a Cracker Jack surprise. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when you open it up, like, oh, whoa, this is great. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like I said, you have to have some discipline and to be able to turn down things that you can turn down. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like, just because you ain't got to stop at every burger shop or every restaurant that you go down to. You got to pass and go to the one that you're supposed to go to. Just have some discipline, man. And like I told you, it was hard for me to turn down sex, man. The women was throwing it at me and I was catching it. You know what I'm saying? It was, but you got to be able to say, hey, no, this is it. I don't want to hurt this person that I have. You know what I'm saying? So this is not that important. This is just temporary pleasure. This is not worth ruining a good thing that I have. So stop hustling backwards. Okay. All right, let's go ahead. I had a couple more, but let's go ahead. We're already at 22 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and get to our topic for today. Okay, listen. When you're starting a relationship, it's almost like starting a business, especially if it's going to be something that's long term. And as with a business, when you're doing a partnership, it's the relationship is what you make of it, and sometimes people can come into the relationship with different skills, different amounts of money, but it's a partnership. So you should, regardless of what the financial situation is, if you guys are putting in equal work, or maybe one person got the money, the other person, has the work ethic or whatever the case may be, this is something that can actually build, even if it's an unequal type of situation. The traditional way, of course, was, the man is a breadwinner. The mom's a stay at home. He goes to work all the time. She take care of everything at home. Now, and remember, now in different states, even though he might be a millionaire and you don't even make no money, you're still entitled to half of the money because you took care of the work at home, so he can go to work and do his thing. So there's no thing such as that one person, there's no big eyes and little U's when it comes to finance and romance and relationship. I'm talking about when you're together, because you both should be working towards the same goal, and that's for each of you to be happy, or whatever the case may be. So when it comes to finance and romance, the way that we do it, in my marriage, we're completely transparent about finance. There's nothing that's going to be able to separate between us. So, she knows what I got. I know what she got. So anytime we spend, it's coming out of both of our pockets. It's not like one is, on the other. We're not living two different lifestyles. And that's what I be saying too. There's people these people on the level that you in the same crib, but y'all got two different lifestyles. I've seen guys that have money, that didn't have money. The girl was making more than them. He driving a bucket. She driving a Benz. You know what I'm saying? And that she going out to eat all the time. He's suffering while she's thriving. And I think that those type of situations is just a no-go. Either y'all in this together or y'all separate. So, you know what I'm saying? So on the basic level, that's kind of how I view how finance and romance should go on a basic level if you're trying to, if you are a couple and you're trying to build together.
Right. Yeah. I think finances are one of the top reasons why people get divorced. They're
Yes.
very important. And
Right.
I can't think of for the life of me why people don't have, just in the word of dating, have more conversations about finance. I think that I always feel like, because you go on dates with people and it feels so superficial. Your favorite color. What do you like to do for fun? Or where's the last place you traveled? What's the last book you read? No. What type of IRA do you have? All right. What's a good return on investment if I get me a CD? Who has the cheapest broker? Like, we need to have more conversations about finances when you're dating. And I think a lot of people are not on the same page. So they assume, or they have an idea of, well, I saw you do X, Y, and Z. So for the most part, I assume that, you did X, Y, and Z. But then when they get married and they go through some shit, the real them comes out and they see how the finances operate. I do agree with you, Chucky. There needs to be 1,000% clarity. What's your spending? Would you call yourself a cheap person? Do you tend to spend frivolously? And people will be able to pick up on it from the conversation. Someone says you have to check their credit and debt. Yeah, that's important. Your debt. What's your outlook on debt? What type of debt do you have? What type of credit score do you have? What are your financial goals? I don't think people talk enough, especially us in the Black community. Growing up, I don't remember us ever really having a conversation about finances. My grandma was like, I'm going to spend it all because you can't take it with you, which is a horrible way of thinking about finances. But that was a way that was installed, imbued in me. And my mom was just, don't ruin your credit, and have a savings, which, was a lot from her at that point, that what she went through. But there's more to that, life estate planning. Finances covers so many aspects, and people have to be honest. Like, for instance, debt. Madison Mad McRae said debt. Chuck, could you marry a woman who was like $200,000 in debt?
Like I said, listen, as far as that's concerned, remember, when you get legally married, you are assuming that other person's debt.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we would have to come up with some type of game plan. We would have to, like, maybe have her do a bankruptcy or something beforehand. Have to find some type of way that the other person's not assuming that other person's debt. Like I always say, the way you start is how you end. You have to set parameters in the beginning on how you're going to run your finances. And like I said, he said that you have to check the credit and debt. Yeah, you definitely have to do that. You have to, like I said, when it comes to finance, you have to see who is a good money manager and who's not. Everybody's not a good money manager. So, if I'm coming in and hey, I have really good credit. And I know how to, manage my finances and get that credit score up, then yeah, I'm gonna show you how we should do it. But if you coming in and you got money and the other person is struggling because they don't know how to do their finances, do not get a joint bank account from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it, because they don't know how to manage their finance. And if they've never had money before, then they're going to mess your money up. You got to look and see if they have any vices, gambling, things like that, or if they just have some type of lucrative spending, and I always see that. And that's the problem with Black people. We always spend to our income. You know what I'm saying? We always do that. I've seen that with people that have a lot of money. I've seen that people that have hardly no money, that every time we get some money, if we get a raise or whatever, we get that, we going to spend it. We're going to spend it because we can. Like I told you, that's when discipline comes in. By me having a business for so long, I've become very disciplined with my spending, because it's always feast or famine. You know what I'm saying? So I have to save for a rainy day just in case I don't have no money coming in for a while, or something like like an emergency or something like that comes up. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be, you got to be really disciplined on how you spend, especially if you ain't rich. You know what I'm saying? There aren't too many people that are rich. So we got to be real careful on how this dynamic works between partners, or whatever the case may be, because like I said, this is the number one reason. This and cheating, finance and cheating, is probably the two number one reasons why people break up. And when things aren't going good and the house life is not happy and bills aren't being paid, it can't sustain itself, because like I said, people are on two different waves. If somebody, all right, I'm gonna give you another example. All right, back in the 90s, well, in the 80s, my dad, he was he made really good money, worked for the post office. My stepmom worked for the post office. We were doing really good. Then my dad started smoking crack. Okay. And not only did he spend up his money, he spent up my stepmom's money. So they ended up losing the crib. And back then they was making close to $100,000 a year, because they both had, middle class income. But he had access to her money, and he just started blowing all the money. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be real careful. So we ended up losing out. And like I told you, and things like houses and stuff, that house only cost $50,000. That same house right now is probably worth about $500,000. You see what I'm saying? So if it could have just stayed in the fam, we could have started building generational wealth and properties and things like that. If, you know what I'm saying, if the, if the dysfunction wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So please, make sure that you have that conversation on how the bills and stuff are going to go when you first start the relationship, because things can twist really quickly, man. And man, so just be careful and know what the type of person that you're dealing with and how they deal with their money.
Right. And there's, I think you have two separate situations. In that situation, and I don't know, you might be able to tell me, but that doesn't sound like a situation that your stepmom could have predicted, that her husband would get addicted to crack and just blow everything. He seemed like
But once he started smoking and she knew it, she should have closed. She should have just cut all that. So every time she got paid and that mug hit, he was smoking it. It was gone. Like I'm telling you, by the end of the weekend, money was gone.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
She should have cut it off. But I'm just like, I think there's some situations. Okay, I have a female friend, and her husband. Someone says 200K is too far gone. Yeah, I had a female friend, and she was great at finances, really good at finances. Her husband, not so good at finances. And they were like, she always complained about being in debt, but he was like this before they got married. So they got married, and she would come up with these plans of, okay, we're gonna do this, this, and this, and he's like, yeah. And that was just her strong point. And each time they would just fall back into debt repeatedly. So in that situation, it's kind of like, well, he was poor with money when he was by himself. You knew what you were getting into. I feel like in your stepmom situation, she just didn't account for that. She probably had her head on together and was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna put this together, and this is how we're gonna do it. And then you get thrown into that situation. And I couldn't imagine dating somebody and just life just goes off the rail of what you planned. But and if you can understand somebody's spending habits and they don't have something catastrophic like that happens, which you just don't plan for. If you know somebody who's horrible at finances, don't marry them. Don't marry them until they can prove to you that they're really good at finances. And not even just really good. Like, not everybody is good at finances, especially us in the Black community. We still are working on that. We're learning more about, hey, you don't just work a job. You work a job and then you got some side hustle so you can supplement that. We're learning more and more. We're getting better at finances. It's going to be a process for us just because of how we start off. So everyone doesn't have to be great at finances, but one, they need to be willing to learn how to be better at finances. And two, I feel like this should be demonstrated over a period of time before you get married. Because my girlfriend, who could never get ahead when she was with her husband because he just wasn't good at money, he didn't want to save. They would save a little bit. And next thing you know, He's like, oh, babe, I took us out to dinner and spent $250 on food to eat just because it was in there after she came up with this
Mm-hmm.
plan. So, but
Yep.
now that they're separated, he can't get himself together, and she's flourishing again. So,
Mm.
it's we finances are important that to be equally yoked. Is a yoke. I keep saying yoked. It's yoked. You need to be financially evenly yoked, or at least learning or be able to get that information. So if you guys are not good at finance now, go out there and learn about finance. And I feel like if you're in a relationship, I have met some when I was in relationships, I all the guys I made more money. So it was never a it was never a struggle for finances. They just gave me their money and I pay the bills. So what I did, because I think that's important, talking about how you guys are going to do your bills. So I would go through, add up all the bill money. Okay, let's say we got $1,000 worth of bills. Then I would divide that $1,000. I pay 500, you pay 500. He gives me 500, he still got the rest of his check. If he wants to go out and buy burnt butt hair with his money, he can do that, right? He can do that. And then on top of that, in that $1,000, I might say, okay, we need to be putting over an extra 500. So it's actually 1,500 divided by 750 a piece. So that way I can put money in to pay the bills and also money in the kitty for us to save an emergency and things like that. So these are the things that you do have to talk about when you're dating. If you are married to your woman, another question I was curious about, and you guys have a conversation of, oh yeah, I have no problem doing, oh my gosh, yes, Chuck, I have no problem doing that, right? And you start dating her, but you find that you guys are not compatible financially. She's more of a spendthrift. How do you handle that situation without saying
And
divorce?
right, but see, and this is the thing too. And even with that situation, that's a microcosm of everything else. When it comes to relationships, um, it's all about compromise and working things out together. When it comes to finance or whatever the situation is, um, if the person is hard headed and don't listen, it's not going to work anyway. You know what I'm saying? If we're not on the same page and we're not going in the same direction with the relationship, it's not going to work. Like if I'll come home and and I'm not a good financial person. Say if I'm not, and I delegate that to you, then it can work like that. If I'm not a good person that can handle finance, and vice versa. If you're not, then you should trust it in me to do it because I know what I'm doing, and you see that I'm successful, and you see that I'm not going to blow money, and I'm fiscally responsible, for all the bills and us moving and saving money and things like that. But like I said, if you're not on the same page, man, it's not going to work regardless, with anything. That could be like, you might be planning a trip and, they like, no, I don't want to fly Spirit. I want to fly such and such. And it's $1,000, might be 3 times the amount to fly something else. Whereas you could have flown Spirit and then you still had your whole vacation paid for the same price that you might have just bought the plane ticket for the other space. You see what I'm saying? So you got to be on the same page in a relationship. You guys have to communicate and you have to compromise in whatever the situation is, financial, if whatever you're going to do with your relationship, whatever direction it is. So if the person, if we can't get on the same page, when it comes to finance, it's not going to work anyway because I know that she's hard-headed. You know what I'm saying? Or we're not compromising. It's not going to work. We're in 2 different ballparks. So and like I said, listen, man, everybody always wants perfection, but they don't want to subscribe to the process of getting there. You know what I'm saying? Everything's not going to be perfect in the beginning. You got to work things out. You are 2 separate people who grew up differently or whatever the case may be. So everything ain't going to be coordinated correctly a lot of times. So when you get together, it's a process and where you have to smooth things out so things can go smoother and you can be happier and you can attain things together. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to finance, man, listen, man, y'all gotta really talk this thing out and see what goals you want to have. I mean, some people like to, some people like to just buy a lot of expensive things and shine, and and they like to, maybe you find somebody that like to spend all your money together. You know what I'm saying? That can work too. Whatever you are on the same page, be that person. But if you're in two separate categories and one person is saving while the other person is spending all the money, you're gonna have problems. So whatever it is, just make sure that you're on the same page, and make sure that that everything is cool. Because like I said, with guys anyway, man, and I always say this, man, a lot of times relationships is transactional anyway. It's like, what can I do? What can I do for you, to make your life better? Like, okay, this is what I'm bringing. I'm bringing this income in, and now you happy because I'm, I'm saying I'm showing what I'm doing for you, or whatever the case may be. It's very seldomly where it's just, I'm a good-hearted guy, and that's what you value. It's mostly transactional. So, yeah. So I mean, man, this is, this is something that's deep, man. That you really have to, get under grips, before it gets out of hand.
So you bring up a good point. Right now, women they're getting into their own bag. They're making more money than they did prior, and they're able to sustain their lifestyles. Do men have an issue dating women who make a significant amount more and are farther in their careers than they are and they do?
This is my thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. Women will a lot of times give their body up a lot sooner than they will give up finances or share their financial situation with you. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot easier. I mean, you give your body up like it ain't nothing. It's out there. A lot of times you showing your butt even before I meet you. So, so you don't value yourself as much as you value money anyway. When I was a lot younger, I dated, she was a little bit older than me. She was she was a police officer, right? She made way more than me. I was working at the rec center. She was a police officer. So her money was like triple my money. You know what I'm saying? I was struggling. I had child support, but I mean, we got along because I'm a man first. You know what I'm saying? So she tried to like pull that shit where she trying to like, well, forget it, nigga. We ain't got to look. You know what? My presence is valuable. So if you don't value my presence, I don't give a fuck what you make it. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing. I'm still a man in my own regard. So I'm not insecure about a woman making more money than me. To me, if we're both on the same page, then shit, that helps. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, when I first got here to Vegas, I came here, my car broke down in the middle of the country. I didn't even have a car. You know what I'm saying? And my wife, I didn't know I had to get set up in Vegas. I wasn't set up yet. She already had things. So she was actually making more money than me when we first started. But she knew that I'm a man first. We're going to make this work. So she stuck by me. And very shortly, then we good now. You know what I'm saying? Now we doing big things. Like, because she knew that on a micro level, how I handle my finances, that I'm not going to just go here and just blow money and shit, because I am disciplined with my stuff. And even though, like I said, my car broke down, I got credit, you know what I'm saying? I got different things here and there. So we're going to make this thing work. But at the beginning, it was not an advantageous situation because shit, my car just broke down. That was my only car. You know what I'm saying? So who knows how the situation was going to go? A lot of women would have been like, man, you a bad luck dude. That's all right. You just stay in Columbus.
Well, no, but so like, would you recommend other women to kind of find men like you who really don't have it together in that moment and take a chance?
Listen, you have to see. All right. I have a whole history behind me of, there was peaks and valleys throughout my whole lifetime. You know what I'm saying? But I've always, when I've fallen down, I've gotten back up. So, I mean, I've done great things in the past. So, given the certain right situation, then I'm going to do good again, because I'm not I'm not just a guy out here just struggling. I've done great things, and she's seen that in me from the beginning. So she knew that I was somebody that she could trust. You know what I'm saying? That, I'm consistent. I have a plan. I'm intelligent. That, all she got to do is just chill out and let me do my thing. And everything's going to be fine. All you got to do is, you know what I'm saying? It's just that just so happened in this situation, I'm at my bottom, but it wasn't always, it was because of the situation. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to look, if a guy had been on the couch for the last 10 years and he ain't even trying, then yeah. But like I said, when somebody has a goal that they're trying to attain and you see and you believe in that goal, then there's the sky is the limit. And that's the best time to get in it. That's just how they do. You talk about stocks. That's how they do with stocks. You get in on stocks in the beginning, you know, when you see that there's so much growth potential that the little bit that you actually invest in it will blow up in the end because you see how it happens on a micro level. That's why they go in and like, say you got a little store, you know, and you see how good the store is going and you want to invest in it publicly because you know that it's going to blow up in the end. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at it and get in on it on a micro level, you know, because once somebody's already established themselves, then it's a lot different. It's a lot more different. You know, you're going to have a lot more competition as far as, you know, other females or males. And, you know, your value, what you bring to the table won't matter. You know what I'm saying? So you got to, you know, kind of be careful, you know, and try to get in, you know, when you see somebody that is working towards their goals in the beginning. And they'll, you know, like I said, if they'll be loyal to you for that if you get it to them in the beginning when nobody else was there. Madison says people know when somebody is about the business. That's right. It's how you handle your business, you know. And she knew I'm just not no little fuck nigga that's out here just doing stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? She knew that I was about my business. You know what I'm saying? I was just in a precarious situation and man, it was just things just weren't going good for me at that time. But you know, but everything got worked out. She believed in me. Now she has my ever-ending loyalty. You see what I'm saying? Because she was there for me when I was at my bottom, and now we thriving together.
That's good. That's good. Would you say that's a situation that happens? One thing you talk about on average. Do you think that happens on average, or do you think that's like that's one of those gambles where you win?
Remember, nothing in life is guaranteed. I wouldn't say that it always happens because I mean everybody ain't me. You know what I'm saying? Like this dudes that's out here, like I told you, people are con men and con women. People like, you know what I'm saying? They'll tell you a story of what you want to hear, but it really ain't factual. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say you got to watch it how I move. She see me, and I didn't even know she was, like I said, I didn't even know she was checking me out, but she was saying how I managed like my credit cards and how I was moving shit here and there. And she was like, damn, you know, I see how you move. Like she told me that, like, damn, I see how you do your. So she knew that I was somebody to invest in, and I got other great qualities. Shit, I mean, shit, I can cook. You know, I'm a halfway handsome. You know what I'm saying? So there was other things too, good qualities about me. But at the end of the day, I was consistent, and I had goals that I wanted to make, and I was working towards those goals. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's how you just got to look at somebody's integrity. Look at how other people around him respect him as well. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're not a good person, they burnt bridges. Believe that shit.
Right.
A lot of people, yeah, they burnt bridges. So see how they're respected amongst their peers and family. And that's what we'll tell you too.
Madison McRae said a lot of women pick bums. True.
Yeah.
We also think that there's a lot more bums than successful in the community.
You say that again?
Do we not feel like there's a lot of bums than successful men?
Of course. There's some bum guys and there's some bum ass chicks too. Trust me. That they just trying to look for a come up. And you know what I'm saying? They users, it's a human thing. People are lazy on both sides. It ain't just one-sided. There's a lot of women that are bums too. Trust me. And they just trying to look to get whatever they can out of you, whether it be finance or physical. You know what I'm saying? They're using you for the D or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So you got to watch for that too. Like I told you,
so
when I got older, I was like,
bums.
Say that again.
I said, so a lot of men pick bums.
Thank you. And that's it. That's where it comes down to your choices, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to choose and actually see if somebody has character or integrity. That's the $1 million question right there. And the answer is really starting off choosing someone that you know, that has integrity that you can trust.
He said no, y'all's intuition is a myth. Then men are horrible at picking as well. Men pick a lot of bad chicks too. I mean, how many guys are single who actually watch this podcast? Either, there's a lot of bums in Gen Pop. They're out here in your face. Or the other is men pick a lot of good women, you guys fuck them over. So I don't know which
Oh, it happens on both sides. It happens on both sides.
I
Like, look,
agree. But the insinuation is that women are more apt to pick bums in that aspect. But for instance, let's talk about Mariah Carey. Her Nick Cannon brings her in the news. And Mariah don't pick bums. She doesn't pick bums. All right. All her dudes are we don't claim to have super intuition. You guys don't. You guys absolutely don't. Do you feel like a lot of men are bums though, or there's more good men than bums? And then I would ask, why do you believe that there's more good men than bums?
You asking me that?
No,
my question.
Mad McRae, but for you, all right. So Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon is in the news, right? Because Nick loves Mariah Carey.
He still does. Huh?
I would say so, because if you just only follow Mariah never say shit about Nick. She doesn't pay attention to Nick. He is not even an option in her world. But Nick always brings up Mariah, just on the whim. Just on the whim. Mm-hmm. You don't even know. You wouldn't even know that's her baby daddy unless we told you that's her baby daddy. Mm-hmm. But so anyway, Nick talks about why their relationship ended, because everybody wanted to know. Mariah's never said anything about it. But Nick had issues because she was, Mariah Carey. Her paper is way longer than his. She's much more famous. She's more further in his career. She was an older woman. He says that the relationship was good. She was a great woman, but he just didn't, he's over here carrying the diaper bag. And he's basically being A$AP Rocky, and he couldn't handle it. So in that do you feel like that there's a lot of guys who would feel like Nick, that they don't want to be the Mr. Mom in the relationship? They don't want to be the A$AP Rocky of the world, of their world.
But listen, that's because he was insecure about his situation, and obviously he didn't feel like a man. Like I said, if you can stand on 10 toes deep and be a man in any situation, it don't matter how much somebody else makes. Your money it is not going to influence me. I'm gonna still be the same person that I was. You know what I'm saying? If you can still stick your chest out and you can have dominion around your area that you're in and be a man, then you're good. It doesn't matter. But if he's flying on her private jet, she's treating him like, a kid, even though like it may not be direct, but maybe indirectly, he felt as though, hey, aren't you Mariah Carey's husband?
I was like, yes, I am. She got a whole bunch of number ones, doesn't she? I don't understand why men can't like A$AP just look like he happy to be Miss Rihanna. He just be walking around, little barrettes in his hair, shit, got his kids and everything. Like, hey, babe, go ahead, take it. Like, he just seems so comfortable. And here's my thing. I do know, like, my dad is one of those, like, if I had more bread, I'd be able to do this. Money is important to men because they like to be, to most men, they like to be providers. They like to be able to say, I remember there was a time when men would put their women in the nicer of the car. Like if you had 2 cars and one was broken and the other one was good, you put your girl in the good one and you took the broken one. You took pride in, oh yeah, I took my great lady out to do this. I bought her flowers and everything. So I understand the importance of finances to men. I could see if Nick Cannon worked at McDonald's and he was dating Mariah Carey, that would fuck with my self-esteem. I get it, but he had money. He had a lot of money. So I just never understood, like, if you're within he was like executive producer when he was like 14, 15 years old. So by the time he got married to Mariah when he was 27, it wasn't like he was no schmuck in his own right. He had money. But it wasn't Mariah Carey long, but he had money and she was okay with marrying him. But I see so many men who get in those situations of where that really fucks with them, that their girl makes more money than them. And instead of being able to be supportive, it makes them feel less than a man, and they have to overcompensate by sleeping around or, What I do believe is overcompensating. He's going out making a whole bunch of single moms on purpose.
Right.
So I never understood why men have such an issue with saying, "Oh yeah, my girl makes more money than me." But I guess that's an ego thing that I will just never understand. I have no ego like that.
Right. I mean, like I said, it's all like depends on where he was insecure about his manhood in that situation. Like I said, I'm sure that's not the only reason why they broke up. Like I said, he probably, I'm sure he was cheating and whatnot. I mean, he was a young.
Yeah, that was.
like I said, listen, man, when you young like that and famous, man, I wouldn't recommend you getting necessarily married at that time until you're ready to really give up all these females and whatnot. For real. I mean, because you might have good intentions, but man, you don't have the discipline at that time. When you young, man, you mess with an older lady, you know what I'm saying? Like you got all these young females coming at you. I would say just wait. I would say if you're famous, I would wait. Get all that, sow your oats and all that. Get all that behind you first and then get married. You know what I'm saying? Unless, that's something that like I think like Ice Cube, he got married at a young age. There's certain people that have gotten married that were famous at an early age and stay loyal to their woman that we haven't heard too much that they were cheating or anything like that. But if you're not necessarily ready, don't do it. And then if, like I said, when your relationship is public like that, I mean, man, it's a lot of pressure, man. People all up in your business. Every time you go somewhere, they're going to be on you online and whatnot. I mean, it's a lot of pressure when your relationship is public and you're famous. He said, why would he have to carry bags when they both have millions at the time? That's true. But I just think it's perception, just like with the Stedman and Oprah thing. You know what I'm saying? He had he had multi-millions and millions of dollars himself, but Oprah was a billionaire. I don't know what happened to her. She just came off. But I think that it's just like, in America, it's just like finance, it rules over everything. Like it's more important than anything. It's not about morals or what you do, how you do with your family and things like that. It's more about who got more money. That's going to be the person that they feel as though is the person that's in charge of the relationship. But like I said, if you a man, you're going to be a man regardless of what your situation is. It don't matter how much money somebody got. That should not determine how the relationship dynamic should work. If you're a man and you have direction and whatnot, maybe just on that certain situation right there, she on the finance part, maybe, she is the one that, that's more successful or whatever, then you still let her make her money or whatever the case may be, but you can still do your thing and stand 10 toes deep on what you believe in too. You know what I'm saying? But if she treats you like a little minion, like, oh, you need her, I don't need you type of thing, then yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. So yeah. So on that situation, man, I mean, look, man, just be a man, just be your authentic self. And if she respects you, it don't matter how much money she makes, she's always going to respect you regardless.
Yeah. He's like, why would he have to carry the bags when they both had millions at the time? I mean, as a man, you wouldn't carry your kids' bags, the kids' diapers bag. Like I if I was a man, I want my girl not to have to stress her body. So, but I do agree. I'm a carry that. Like my dad doesn't let me carry anything. He gets mad when I go and take out the trash. I just thought it was a man thing, but it might not be.
No.
But you're right. You're right, Chuck. If your woman respects you, she respects you whether you have money or not. Especially if she got married to you, she's not gonna marry somebody let me rephrase that. If she respects you, she respects you. Okay. Some women will get married just because they want to get married. So,
right. That's true. All right, y'all. So we to the end of the show. We appreciate y'all tuning in. And like I said, tune in to Thursday Night Therapy this Thursday at the same place, same time.
Yes.
Final thoughts on this situation before we get out of here.
Talk about your finances. Don't let it be a surprise, an unpleasant surprise. And take me out.
That's right.
Candle champagne, please.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Listen, y'all. Like I said, with finance, it's a real delicate situation. Make sure you communicate with your partner and make sure you guys are on the same page. if you can't get on the same page when it comes to finance, this can a lot of times be a deal breaker. So please make sure you communicate and stop being hard-headed. Compromise. Make sure you guys have the same goals, which you should have anyway if you're in a relationship. So this part of the financial piece should go hand in hand with whatever goals that you have together. So you have to compromise. You have to both be on the same page, and you have to have discipline when it comes to finance, because nothing is guaranteed. Things can change from day to day. So, okay, you could have your engine could blow in your car next day. You can have a fire, whatever the case may be. So get on the same page, and I'm telling you, everything will work out fine. Okay, y'all. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. Peace.